Hi, everybody. My name is Jacob Johnson. I'm the head coach for the Badger Aquatic Club. One of the really exciting things about this time of year is we get to meet a bunch of new kids that are interested in joining back. Obviously, there's a lot of kids potentially joining back, and so it can be a little bit of an involved process. Over the years, we've kind of fine-tuned it down into what we call these new swimmer evaluations. We're gonna run through some of the basic questions that parents most often ask about the new swimmer evaluation process. One question parents typically ask is, why do we do a new swimmer evaluation? The name kind of says it all. It's an evaluation for our potential new swimmers. It's a chance for us to see kind of where they might fit on our team, to see which group they might fit into. Our group descriptions are available on our website. You've probably looked those over. If you haven't, you can go ahead and do that. What you might have noticed is when you come to ages and grade levels, there's a lot of natural overlap between groups, especially with our younger swimmers. So while we might know a swimmer of a certain age might fit into our ribbon or trophy group, there's a lot of overlap in between. And so getting to know these kids, getting to see them in the pool beyond just their times from All-City or Tri-County Conference, that really gives us an idea of what group they might be the best fit in. There are other great aspects of it as well. One of the nice things about doing a preseason new swimmer evaluation is that, especially if you have swimmers that are a little nervous about potentially joining back, it's a lower stress, low key, shorter practice. Everybody there is new. Everybody there is a little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive. They get to kind of get those jitters out in experience. They get to meet some of the coaches. They get to have a nice initial experience with back. It's also great for our coaches to get to know the kids. So that way, the kids, when they come the first practice, the coach, hey, I know you, I remember you from the new swimmer evaluation. And it's great to have that familiarity and great to have those familiar faces kind of going both ways. One of the main questions we get all the time about the new swimmer evaluations is obviously how many swimmers you're going to take, how many swimmers you're going to have to turn away. Unfortunately, space is the limiting factor for our team, for swimming in the Madison area in general, right? We had this huge interest out of the All-City League in Madison, out of the Tri-County League and the surrounding communities. Swimming is huge in our area. But we can tell you that historically, we take far more swimmers and we're able to accommodate far more swimmers than we unfortunately have to turn away. One of the important aspects of the new swimmer evaluation is that it is truly that, an evaluation. We get parents asking all the time about, do you guys have tryouts? We feel this is more than just sort of like a semantic difference. Compared to what you might call a tryout, this is gonna be an evaluation. We're gonna take a look at the kids. We're gonna do a little bit of all four strokes, do some kicking. But let's talk about what you're not gonna see. You're not gonna see timed efforts. You're not gonna see a race off the blocks and the fastest kid is on the team and the slowest kid isn't. You're not gonna see us talking to the kids about the idea of who's gonna be in what group and who's gonna maybe make the team or not. We do all that afterward via email with the parents. The reason we do that is we want this to be a great experience for everybody. We want everybody to have, if it's someone that's eventually gonna join the team, we want them to have a great first experience with back. If it's someone that we unfortunately aren't able to accommodate this season, we want them to have that great experience as well. Logistically, how new swimmer evaluations work is we have 4 separate new swimmer evaluations scheduled, all basically in August. There are 2 different dates and times for our Madison programming, and that would be both our East Side Madison programming, based primarily out of Monona Grove, and our West Side programming, based out of Middleton, Edgewood, Memorial, all the other places we use. We also have 2 dates and times for our soccer Baraboo programming. Those are all listed on the website in the form, and when you sign up, you can select the one that works for you. Registration logistics for a new swimmer evaluation. We don't want you at this point to register through our Team Unify website. A lot of you may use Team Unify for your summer rec teams. It can be a bit of a hassle to get a new registration in there. You got to create an account and all this stuff. We've learned that we don't need to bother with that as your first experience with back. So the registration for a new swimmer evaluation is just a pretty simple Google form. We'll need your contact information, including email. We'll need your swimmer's name, some other information about your swimmer. And one of the things on there is your guess as to what group might fit for your swimmer. If you haven't noticed already, we have group descriptions for all the locations, East Side Madison, West Side Madison, Sauk, and Baraboo. We have those group descriptions listed on the website. Take a look at those. Don't overly stress about group placement now. In fact, that's what the new swimmer evaluation is for. We know that there's a lot of overlap between the groups, ribbon, trophy, little Badgers to ribbon, trophy to silver, all of those overlaps. We just want that initial one in there so we can do some initial grouping on our end. We also look, of course, at kids' birth dates and ages, grade levels, stuff like that. One thing the parents often ask is, Unfortunately for the swimmers that we aren't able to accommodate, what's next for my swimmer? I think this is a really important thing to stress, that if your swimmer, if we don't have a spot for your swimmer this fall, that only means that this team didn't have a spot for your swimmer this session. It doesn't mean they're a lousy swimmer. It doesn't mean they don't have a future in this sport. It doesn't mean they shouldn't find a different team or come back to back in the future. We've had that happen so many times where swimmers find a different home and come back, or swimmers maybe don't join us in the fall. We're able to accommodate them in the winter or the spring. We even had a swimmer once that we weren't able to take her when she was 7 or 8 years old. She came back for another session. She ended up being a really accomplished swimmer for us. She was a multiple event team record holder, swam for UW. So just because your swimmer just because we weren't able to accommodate your swimmer this fall, don't quit on the sport. One thing we want to stress about the new swimmer evaluation process is the importance of communication. We know that communication is absolutely essential in youth sports overall, and this is no exception. And the fact that it's kind of your first experience for many of you with BAC or with USA Swimming, it's even more important that we're doing a great job of communicating. So we're gonna have information on the website, videos like a video like this. We're gonna send you plenty of emails, but also if you have any questions, it's important that you reach out to us. Please don't hesitate if you have a question. I'd rather get 100 extra emails than have a bunch of questions out there unanswered. So if you have any questions before the new swimmer evaluation, please don't hesitate to ask. You can shoot me an email. I'll get back to you within a couple days. If I don't, sometimes the volume can be a little high and it's August, so we tend to go on some vacations. Feel free to shoot me a reminder to get it kind of back on top of the inbox. So thank you very much for watching the video. We hope this was informative. That should have had all the kind of basic information about the new swimmer evaluation. We know that communication is absolutely essential to a successful youth sports experience, and this is definitely an example of that. So if you have any additional questions, or if you certainly have questions about your swimmer individually, please don't hesitate to shoot us an email and we'll get that answered pretty quickly. Thank you.